Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, Triple H frustrated with WWE.
Worrying developments for WWE Creative.
WWE are ecstatic with this top Raw act.
And a health update on Omega and Ospreay after their Forbidden Door war. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
It's really warm in here. Why is it so warm in here? It must be this dynamism.
Hey?
Let's kick things off by talking about Triple H. He's a bit frustrated at the moment, which you can understand given the increased creative influence of his father-in-law since just after WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. This is a report from Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer Radio, and it paints a frustrated picture of Triple H, the Chief Content Officer of WWE. He claims that Levesque is likely in the middle of a very frustrating situation, pointing out that from writers all the way up to Triple H, nobody can say a damn thing to Vince McMahon at the moment. The exact quote is, "It's like you're F-U-C-K-E-D if you say anything to Vince." Oosh. That doesn't sound like a fun working environment. Meltzer stated that people within WWE are trying to figure out a way to have him not do this, which would be referencing the constant changes that have been made to WWE programming since April. A source noted that the changes wouldn't be so bad if Vince was doing them a day or two in advance, because at least then you have time to adjust and get ready for them. But no, he does them on the day of the show. Sometimes he does them like half an hour before they go on the air. It's wild. Vince, of course, has been back in a role of power for ages now. Since Endeavor's takeover of the company was announced in April, he was installed as like the head of the wrestling side of the business. Mm-hmm. He returned as executive chairman in January when he effectively held the board of directors hostage.
It was a coup.
Yeah, it literally was. He replaced dissenting voters with his yes men, and he said to them, "Yo, if you don't let me back on as executive chairman, I'm not going to agree to a sale or a new rights fee," which mean the company would go out of business, effectively.
And wait a second, Andy, why wasn't he in power prior to that?
Because he resigned in disgrace.
Oh, yeah!
Amid myriad sexual misconduct allegations, having paid out tens of millions of dollars in hush money, which, by the way, is a thing that happened. There are still some people out there who are like, no proof.
Yeah, it happened.
Look at the SEC filings, for goodness sake. Anyway, let's fold these two stories into one before we kind of break it down. But, Vince back in WWE in general, if you're Triple H, would you be pissed off at someone coming in and going, "Hey, nice plans there, gonna take the hammer to him"? Let us know down in the comments below.
Yeah, Mike Johnson of PW Insider followed up on this, or provided a completely separate report, I should say, just tags nicely with this one. A worrying sign for WWE Creative that Vince McMahon's influence is just set to grow and grow and grow as Endeavor's purchase of WWE is closed. I just assumed it had happened when we reported in April, but they're dotting the I's, they're crossing the T's, basically. That's expected to go through properly later on this year. But yeah, he is expected to just exert more and more influence across WWE as part of this, because as Andy said, he's the head guy on the wrestling side of things, and Endeavor, well, they've got Dana White on the UFC side of things, so they clearly don't really care about what people do outside of their business in terms of
literally slapped his wife in public.
Yeah. And they just go, no, we trust that guy, that's the guy we trust, we're just going to let him run it despite everything, and despite, as Andy alluded to, vast improvements under Triple H to the likes of Raw and SmackDown. You say all the time that you watch an episode of Raw and SmackDown and it's chugging along nicely, it's making a lot of sense, and then something will happen and you'll go, that's a Vince thing. It stands out like a sore thumb, doesn't it? Yeah,
it does. You can tell, man, if you've been watching WWE programming for any length of time, you know when when his influence is on something. Look, the nice 9 months we had of uninterrupted Triple H creative were very good.
It's the Andy Bernard thing, isn't it? I wish people would tell me that I was in the middle of this.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It was like a good 9-month run.
Oh, it was so good.
And look, there's still some good stuff on television, obviously,
yeah.
like The Bloodline and The Judgment Day, who we'll talk about in a little bit. There's plenty of good things on WWE programming, but you know now that the Vince of Damocles is just hanging over everything and come in and chop up whatever he wants, and if his influence is going to grow, it's probably best to maybe start keeping certain things at arm's length. Because if he comes in and chops up something you're really enjoying, it's not worth getting all like annoyed about. It's just what he does. It's what he's done for 40, 50 years. The real thing you should be annoyed about is this man kind of worming his way back in to a position of power in this industry, because there are no consequences for billionaires. Is the way to kind of summarize this.
But we will always hold him to account. If you want to keep updated on that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for our daily rants about that complete arsehole in charge of WWE.
Yeah, if you like this kind of thing, we do it every day, baby. Let's move on to something a bit more positive.
Yeah!
Which will be nice. WWE Ecstatic with a Top Raw act. That Top Raw act is the flipping Judgment Day.
They're awesome.
Which is this is no surprise, is it? They're like the best.
Every single one of them is killing it.
The best thing on Raw for me.
That's
not even a controversial statement. Why did I frame it like that?
I mean, Cody's on there, but I think both best collective, without question.
Most fun.
Act
on
that's
Raw.
A good point.
There you go. Cody obviously right up there. But Fightful Select coming through with the report. Yeah, they're just ecstatic with the group, all of them. And even Edge has conceded that the current version of the group is a better fit than the original version.
Yeah.
And he's dead correct, because purple Smurf miserable
big chair
metal guy was rubbish. I'm not the first person to say this, but it was a crap House of Black ripoff, and I'm glad that version died, and now we have a really great version.
The Bash Street Kids now.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Purple Bash Street Kids. It's great.
Dom gets booed out of the building, and he's wrestling Cody Rhodes, who just fought Brock Lesnar, by the way. Dom's the next in line, right? Rhea Ripley's murdering Natalia on a weekly basis, it appears to be, and dominant, obviously, champion on Monday Night Raw. Damian Priest has established himself as basically a future world champion in my eyes.
Balor.
Every time you put him in there, he looks awesome. And my God, how good was that promo thing on Raw from Balor? I want him to win now.
I know, me too. I was like, I like Rollins, but maybe he should win.
Completely justified.
I'll just quickly summarise some of the specific praise. Balor, very easy to work with, filled a number of roles since the Judgment Day came together.
Great match with Mello last night.
Fantastic. Damian Priest, his work ethic, particularly opposite Bad Bunny, has been recognised.
Oh, yeah.
It's noted that was originally going to be a tag match, but Priest did such a good job that everyone was just totally comfortable with it being a singles match, which says a lot, because he's a rapper, not a wrestler, as awesome as he is. So, yeah, great. That match kicked ass. Dominic, praised for picking up a bigger schedule, including increased media opportunities.
And being also the biggest heel in all of wrestling.
I'll talk about that in a sec. WWE has made a conscious effort to put him in different scenarios with different opponents to get him more used to styles and things, which makes sense. And Rhea Ripley's earned a lot of plaudits for working through her current knee issues, which I believe stem from an old football injury. Her drive to improve and also get others over has been praised as well, because a staff member has commented that she could just focus on her own creative and it'd be totally fine. But no, she's lifting others up, and you can really see that with her and Dom. I will say, if I have one complaint about the Judgment Day, and I maintain that people are not talking about this enough, please, please, please stop piping in boos for Dominic. Let the act succeed or fail without artificial influence.
Sweetening, innit?
Because you can tell on TV when the boos come in, you look at the crowd, it does not match up, and then people join in because they're coming through the arena, and it's fun. Just do it naturally. Why does it have to be fake? But look, the Judgment Day rule, I think they're my most enjoyable, fun thing in WWE right now. This one minor complaint. There you go.
I'd put more titles on him, for me. Not necessarily the World Heavyweight Championship, but something. Like, I know Rhea's got one, but I feel like they could have... Like, it would be a fun dynamic if... I mean, Dom would be the funniest. If Dom had a title, and Finn and Damian Priest are like, we're both kind of equally in charge of this group, but when neither of us are the champion. It's just a brilliant dynamic. I love watching them every single week, and I'm really excited about Money in the Bank Saturday, Dom versus Cody Rhodes, and we'll be doing the live stream for it at a reasonable time because it's here in the UK.
7 p.m. UK time live stream, 8 p.m. kickoff for the main... No, wait, that's confusing language because the kickoff shows the thing. The pay-per-view starts at 8. I assume you guys are coming on at 7?
Hell yeah.
I just decided that for you. There you go.
7 p.m. join us on Saturday night, like... What's that, like 2 p.m. Eastern or something? Something like that.
Yeah.
Right, let's bring an update on this, Andy. I'm talking about Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay's war at Forbidden Door.
Before you dive into that, I'd like to point out that this is literally the first image you see when you log into AEW's media library at the moment.
And I'd like to point out that wasn't the finish.
Yeah, I hope they did that on purpose.
Jesus. What a match that was. Absolutely sensational. Make sure you check out Simon Miller's ups and downs from Forbidden Door, by the way. But the good news is Omega and Ospreay are both doing fine after that, despite all evidence to the contrary. It's mad that they're both fine, and poor Brian Danielson broke his arm, 10 minutes into the match?
Yeah, something like that. And he tore his labrum a few months ago. Poor guy.
But yeah, understandably, with spots like this and, all the influence of their first match that they had at Wrestle Kingdom, of course, people were concerned about whether or not they'd make it to All In / be alive after this. But Fight for Select reported that both competitors emerged relatively unscathed. I mean, we all saw the blood gushing down Will Ospreay and I suppose technically also Kenny Omega's face.
Good blade jobs.
Yeah.
Really good blade jobs. Yeah.
Omega's told multiple people he felt fine. It was meticulously planned out, this just like the match they had at Wrestle Kingdom. So it looked really horrific, which is what best wrestling is meant to do. But thankfully, the microcosm is Will Ospreay's hidden blade. Every time I see it, I think, he's concussed someone.
Yeah.
But they're just such brilliant workers together that I'm sure they're not exactly 100%, but they're not a concern going forward. Potentially for All In.
Yeah, I think that the Tiger Driver 91, which is is the spot that drew the most attention online yesterday. And obviously when people are talking about wrestler safety and stuff, I can absolutely see why people who maybe haven't watched a lot of Japanese wrestling in particular might look at a move like that and go, oh my god, why are they doing that? Someone's going to break their neck.
Or they've botched it. Or
whatever. Exactly. People who are not familiar with Misawa or Kawada, I get it. I really do. Yeah. That being said, I do think there is a lot of bad faith stuff that comes up whenever, particularly in AEW when moves like this are used. And I do think a lot of it comes from just a lack of familiarity with that style, but at the same time, I think some people are doing it just to be kind of assholes. I will say, my thoughts on this, obviously I'm glad the lads are all right.
Yep.
I loved the match, obviously. But generally my thoughts on this are, we don't have to play safety police. We have no right whatsoever to tell grown adults what they can and cannot do with their bodies. We are not doctors, and neither are you. You might be. Shout out. You've accomplished a lot in life, a lot more than me.
What are you doing watching us?
Yeah, do something productive. But yeah, unless you are Kenny or Will, or the medical team in AEW, or someone who has a duty of care, so like Tony Khan, I guess, or New Japan officials, you've no right to tell these people what they can and can't do with their bodies. You don't have to like it. Fair. That's in the eye of the beholder.
I didn't like the fake seizure spot, for example, in Danielson Okada. Didn't
Fair.
like it.
If you don't like that stuff, that's totally fine. But you can't police what people do with their bodies. Let them do what they want, and you have a choice to either just not watch it or
hey, that's an option.
Yeah, that's a choice too. But yeah, I do understand why some people might have been like, oh, I've never seen that move before. Yeah, I mean, it's Tiger Driver. Look up a Ganso bomb. Oh my goodness. Just
maybe watch it through your fingers first time.
Yeah, there's one particular one that Kawada does on Misawa that, look it up. Don't if you have a squeamish stomach, but yeah.
And if you haven't watched it yet, go and watch that match, particularly for the one-winged angel spot, let's just say. And if you want to know mine and the Dadley's boys' more detailed thoughts about it, we are going to be reviewing it later on today. What Culture Wrestling Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. But let's move on to your questions, taken today from the YouTube's community page. We sometimes put them on Twitter, at WhatCultureWWE.
Probably do that tomorrow.
And sometimes put them on the YouTube community page. That's where we're going today. And speaking of Omega and Ospreay, John Reeves starts us off. Hi, John. With Omega and Ospreay tied at 1-1, could you see them doing a time limit draw at All In to set up a decider at Wrestle Kingdom to take the story full circle and echo Omega versus Okada? Do you think they're going to fight All In, first of all, I suppose?
I don't, actually. I think they're going to blow this off at Wrestle Kingdom. I think they're going to leave it a bit and then come back to it, because it's a New Japan story more than an AEW story, with it starting over there and everything else. So I don't think that they will meet at the All In. I think that Will is going to win the series at Wrestle Kingdom, going 2-1, 2 in a row as well. However, if you wanted to add another match onto it, obviously the Omega Okada series, 4 classic matches. All right, I don't like using the word classic, but if you're going to use it, it's probably for them. you could do that and it would be very good.
Yeah, when I instantly heard time limit draw, I went, ooh, but then I remembered it's these two. So I don't think we'd feel too shortchanged if they did that All In at Wembley. I agree. I think they're maybe going to focus more on BCC Elite stuff at All In and All Out and
Blood and Guts
and what have you.
In Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Mercedes, she's going to be in Blood and Guts.
Oh, yeah?
Money.
Is she getting better?
I don't know.
There was whispers about her, wasn't there, over the weekend?
It was a bit ambiguous because it was like, oh, she broke her ankle. But then it was like, oh, maybe it's just a sprain. And no one really seems to know. She's done a couple of updates on social media.
Yeah, get well soon.
Yeah.
And you, Adam Cole. God, you went on Forbidden Door.
Need Mercedes to come back and tell someone they have insufficient funds again.
Michael Scarn gives us our second question of the day.
Michael Scarn? Is that not the guy from The Office?
I believe so.
Yeah, his alter ego.
Who are you guys hoping wins Money in the Bank? LA Knight. Definitely seems like the top contender considering recent peps and reactions. However, I feel Logan Paul has shown he could have a 2014 Seth Rollins Money in the Bank run. Also, is this a case of using Logan while he's around?
So, I was kind of in two camps a while ago. The troll camp is very fun. Logan Paul or maybe Dominic, but obviously he's not in the match now.
Yeah.
You know, previously, to me, that would have been a lot of fun. I don't think you can waste LA Knight at this stage.
Yeah.
This man is so over. He gets the best reactions on any show he appears on. All that is just ridiculously popular at the moment. He is caught on like wildfire. I think it would be extremely silly not to make the most of that right now. No adversity, no hurdles, no beating him because he's getting over while others maybe are not to the same degree. Go for it, do the right thing, mint him. Does he have to win Money in the Bank to do that? I don't think so, but I think it's a lot more compelling than the troll option.
Yeah, strike while the iron's hot, I agree with you. And you've got the benefit of, and I always say normally, when you put the Money in the Bank on someone, already know when, vaguely, you want them to win the title and how and who against. But LA Knight is such a brilliant character. You could put it on him and go, we'll just leave that on him for a few months. Won't beat him every week, right? And then if we need a babyface to take the championship, he can do that, because look at him. But also, he's a brilliant heel by what he does all of the time, so we can just have him do that. Then again, the Money in the Bank briefcase as a bottle of Prime. I'm undecided. I'm gonna hold off on this until we do our Money in the Bank predictions, which are coming away later on this week.
Yes.
William Sanders gives our final question of the day. What do you guys see as the main event for All In London? William suggests MJF versus CM Punk for the undisputed title. Yes, please.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Especially because they're in Chicago the week after for All Out.
So Punk wins in London and MJF wins in Chicago.
Yeah, why not? Why not? 1 week reign. I could see them doing that for sure. I haven't really thought about this card too much, actually.
No, it's like now we've got Forbidden Door out of the way, that's next.
Of course, CM Punk and FTR versus Kenny and the Bucks would be money, but I don't think we're there yet. They were at different sides of the arena over the weekend in their own designated locker rooms. I assume they had their own toilets, corridors that only they can use. It's all very complex.
Yes.
Main event, MJF, putting him in there for sure. Who we having him again? CM Punk's a compelling shout.
Dave Benson Phillips, baby. DBP.
Dude,
Ever seen some put British people on this show when they don't need to be on there?
Grant Holt, he's got wrestling experience.
The Mitchell brothers versus MJF and FTR.
The Mitchell brothers versus FTR Bald. Why can't I think of a good main event? I mean, they're all good. Well, okay, MJF versus Kenny Omega. There you go, boom, done. Like, best babyface in the company right now, best heel in the company right now. CM Punk is the best somewhere in the middle in the company.
I'm really intrigued how he gets reactions in Britain. See how he gets reactions in Canada? I don't know why I said it like that. And Chicago. How are the British fans going to react to him? I can't wait.
Or just when they get to, like, normal American city as well.
Yes.
Like, I'm so curious about all of this.
Oh, it's so exciting.
It's like Canadian crowds are always hot.
Yeah, Bizarro world as well, so they're the opposite of how everyone actually feels, as we always know.
Also, Hamlet's on the money for All In. Chris Jericho versus Goldberg.
Yes, please.
2 moves. Jericho just eats dirt. Boom.
And wins, obviously.
Yeah.
Sells
a spear.
Let us know what you want to see in the main event of All In, and if you enjoyed this video, check out this one as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.